Captain Nadia Patel stood at the observation deck of Helios Defense Station, her dark eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars beyond the reinforced viewport. 20 years of service in the Earth Alliance Navy hadn't prepared her for what she was seeing now. The sensor readings made no sense. A massive object, nearly 2 kilometers long, had appeared at the edge of their detection range without triggering a single proximity alert. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the unease crawling up her spine. Lieutenant Ravi Kumar's fingers danced across his holographic display. "Still no energy signature, Captain. It's just there. Like it's not even moving, but it is. Trajectory calculations suggest it will pass directly between us and Nova Colony in approximately 6 hours." Nadia pressed her palm against the cool glass. The object was barely visible to the naked eye, a darker patch against the star-filled backdrop, like a tear in the fabric of space itself. 3 decades of relative peace between Earth Alliance and the frontier colonies had led to complacency, but this was different. This wasn't human. "Get me a secure channel to Admiral Santos," she ordered, turning away from the viewport. "And tell Defense Squadron Delta to maintain their distance, but stay alert." Before Ravi could acknowledge the order, every screen on the bridge flickered. The lights dimmed, then brightened, then dimmed again. A low hum, more felt than heard, vibrated through the station's superstructure. "Ma'am," called out Specialist Yuki Tanaka from her security station, "we're getting similar reports from all decks. Whatever that thing is, it's affecting our power grid." Nadia moved to the central command console, bringing up a tactical display. The unknown vessel had changed course, slightly but deliberately, moving to intercept their position. As she watched, 3 Earth Alliance patrol ships approached the object, their running lights bright against the void. "Delta Squadron, fall back," she ordered into the calm, "Do not engage." "Repeat, do not." The words died in her throat. Where 3 ships had been, there was now only empty space. No explosion, no debris, no distress signal. Just absence. The main screen came to life without command, showing an image that made everyone on the bridge step back. It wasn't a transmission. It was something else, something projected directly into their minds as much as onto the screen. They saw Nova Colony, but not as it was now. They saw it burning, saw massive warships in Earth Alliance colors raining death from above, saw civilians running through streets choked with smoke and debris. Then they saw something else, the same scene, but with the mysterious vessel appearing, and watched as both the attacking fleet and the colony itself simply ceased to exist. A voice echoed through their minds, neither male nor female, neither young nor old. "Choice. You have choice. Choose better." Nadia's hands gripped the console until her knuckles turned white. "Get me Earth Alliance command. Now." Hours later, in a secure conference room deep within the station, Nadia faced the holographic projections of Earth's highest military and civilian leaders. She had just finished presenting her report, including sensor logs and witness statements. "And you're certain, Captain," asked Defense Minister Chen, "that this object made no hostile moves beyond removing our patrol ships?" "The ships weren't destroyed, Minister," Nadia corrected. "They were unmade, as if they never existed. And with respect, I believe the vision we were shown was very clear. It was a warning." "A warning against what?" demanded General Harrison. "We have no plans to attack Nova Colony. They're citizens of the Alliance, even if they've been difficult lately." Nadia took a deep breath. "I believe it was warning us against what we might become. The colony independence movement is growing. There's talk of military intervention. This entity, whatever it is, showed us a possible future, and then showed us the consequences of choosing that path." The room fell silent. Finally, Colonial Affairs Director Mendoza spoke up. "There are rumors. Similar vessels have been seen near other colonies. Watching. Waiting. Always appearing when tensions rise highest." Then perhaps, Nadia suggested, "we should consider why they feel the need to watch us at all." As if in response to her words, the station's lights flickered again. On every screen, in every room, the same message appeared: "Choose better." The entity remained in position for 3 more days, silent and watchful. Earth Alliance ships kept their distance, and Nova Colony held its breath. When it finally moved, gliding away with that same impossible motion, it left behind more than fear. It left questions, and with them, the first seeds of change. In her quarters that night, Nadia recorded in her personal log, "We've always looked to the stars for guidance. Now, something in those stars is looking back. Not to conquer, not to help, but to make us see ourselves more clearly. The question is, will we listen?" The answer would come sooner than anyone expected, and it would change everything. Lieutenant Marcus Drake stood in the ruins of what had once been Outpost Sigma 7, his environmental suit's sensors struggling to make sense of the readings. The entire facility, a state-of-the-art Earth Alliance research station, had simply vanished, leaving behind only its foundation and a perfectly circular impression in the lunar surface. "Control, are you getting this?" he asked, adjusting his helmet camera. "There's no debris, no radiation signature, nothing to suggest an explosion or attack. It's as if someone just lifted the entire structure away." His partner, technical specialist Rowan Sharma, was scanning the perimeter. "Marcus, you need to see this. The molecular structure of the rock at the edge of the circle, it's been altered at the quantum level. Like reality itself was rewritten." Before Marcus could respond, a transmission cut through their secure channel. "Lieutenant Drake, this is Colonial Vessel Starweaver. We're picking up an anomaly entering our sector. It matches the description from Helios Station." Marcus's heart rate spiked. In the 3 weeks since Captain Patel's encounter with the mysterious vessel, similar sightings had been reported across 7 different systems. Each time, the pattern was the same: appearance, demonstration, warning, departure. But this was the first time anyone had been close enough to witness its arrival. "Acknowledged, Starweaver. Maintain position. We're heading back now." He signaled to Rohan, and they hurried back to their shuttle. As they broke lunar orbit, they saw it. The vessel, if it could be called that, moved through space like ink through water, its surface rippling with patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. It was massive, ancient, impossible. "All stations, this is Lieutenant Drake. Do not engage. Repeat, do not." The warning came too late. A patrol of 3 colonial ships, apparently unaware of the standing orders, moved to intercept. Their weapons powered up, energy signatures bright against the void. What happened next defied explanation. The Guardian ship didn't attack, didn't defend. It simply shifted. Reality around the patrol ships seemed to fold, and when it unfolded, they were gone. Not destroyed, erased. Then the visions began. Marcus saw Earth's cities in flames, colonial worlds reduced to ash, humanity tearing itself apart in an endless cycle of violence and retribution. But there was more this time. Between the scenes of destruction, he glimpsed something else. Great ships sailing between stars, worlds linked by bridges of light, people of Earth and the colonies working together to build something beautiful. 2 futures, 2 choices. A voice filled his mind, the same one reported by Captain Patel. "The path divides. You see both ends. Choose." When the visions cleared, Marcus found himself floating in his shuttle, Rohan unconscious beside him. The Guardian ship hung motionless against the stars, waiting. Hours later, in an emergency session of the Colonial Council on Europa, Marcus delivered his report. The chamber was packed with representatives from both Colonial and Earth Alliance governments, the first such joint meeting in over a decade. Junwei, leader of the Colonial Resistance Movement, stood up. "These visions you saw, Lieutenant, they showed 2 possibilities?" "Yes," Marcus confirmed. "Destruction if we continue our current path, but also potential. Something greater than either Earth or the colonies could achieve alone." "And we're supposed to believe this entity is neutral," demanded Counselor Rodriguez. "That it's not manipulating us?" "With respect, Counselor," Marcus replied, "if it wanted to manipulate us, why show both possibilities? Why not simply destroy those who oppose its preferred outcome?" "No, I believe it's showing us our own reflections, what we might become, for better or worse. The chamber erupted in argument, but fell silent as the lights dimmed. On every screen, images began to play. Historical footage of Earth and colonial ships working together to establish the first outposts, to face natural disasters, to explore the unknown. Then, gradually, showing the growing divisions, the rising tensions, the slow spiral toward conflict. Remember, the voice echoed in their minds. Remember what you were. See what you could be. When the lights returned to normal, Jun Wei stood again. "I've fought for colonial independence for 20 years, he said quietly. I believed it was the only way forward. Now I'm not so sure. These beings, whatever they are, they see further than we do. They show us not just consequences, but possibilities." Marcus watched as the mood in the chamber shifted. The Guardian ship's appearances had forced both sides to confront their choices, to see their conflicts through the lens of a power so vast it could unmake reality itself. In his quarters that night, Marcus recorded his findings, knowing they would be studied for years to come. "The entity's message is evolving," he noted. "First it showed us what to fear. Now it shows us what to hope for. The question is, are we ready to listen?" The Guardian ship remained in orbit around Europa for 2 more days. When it departed, it left behind more than questions this time. It left possibility, and with it, the first real chance for change in a generation. But as Marcus would soon learn, not everyone was ready to choose a new path. Some would cling to the old ways, even in the face of cosmic judgment, and their resistance would shape the events to come. Chancellor Olivia Frost stood at the window of her office in the Earth Alliance headquarters, watching the sunset paint New Geneva's skyline in shades of gold. On her desk, reports from across the solar system told the same story. The Guardian ship was appearing more frequently, its demonstrations becoming more pointed, its message increasingly urgent. "Madam Chancellor," her AI assistant chimed, "Colonial Representative Rahman has arrived." Olivia straightened her charcoal suit. "Send her in." Zara Rahman entered with the quiet confidence of someone used to navigating difficult diplomatic waters. Her traditional hijab was decorated with subtle patterns of stars, a common fashion among colonial leaders who had been born in space. "Thank you for meeting me, Chancellor," Zara said, taking the offered seat. "Though I suspect neither of us will enjoy this conversation. The military council is pushing for immediate action," Olivia replied, sitting down. "They believe we should strike now, before the colonies can fully mobilize. They think the Guardian ship is a colonial weapon," Zara finished. "Just as some of my people believe it's an Earth Alliance trick. We're all so eager to blame each other that we're missing the real message." Before Olivia could respond, the lights in her office flickered. The air grew thick with possibility, and both women felt the now familiar presence entering their minds. The Guardian ship had returned. This time, the vision was different. Instead of showing them possible futures, it showed them the past, but not their own. They saw countless civilizations rising and falling, each destroying themselves in painfully familiar ways. Pride, fear, greed, distrust, the patterns repeated across millennia, across galaxies. Then they saw the Guardians themselves, or at least, what they had once been. A species so advanced they had transcended physical form, choosing to remain as watchers, as witnesses, as guides for younger races approaching their own moments of choice. "We were like you," the voice echoed in their minds. "We chose. Now you must." When the vision faded, both women found themselves sitting in silence, tears streaming down their faces. "They're not here to judge us," Zara whispered. "They're here to save us from ourselves." Olivia stood, her legs shaky. "All this time, we thought we were being tested, but we're being taught." The next hours were a blur of activity. Emergency meetings were called. Commands were issued. Across the solar system, military vessels from both Earth and the colony stood down. Communication channels that had been silent for years crackled to life. But not everyone welcomed the change. Admiral Xavier Ramirez, commander of the Earth Alliance Fifth Fleet, burst into Olivia's office during a joint conference call with colonial leaders. "Chancellor, you can't be serious about this cooperation initiative," he demanded. "These entities, Whatever they are, they're a threat to human autonomy. We should be uniting against them, not letting them dictate our politics. Zara's hologram flickered as she leaned forward. And how exactly do you propose we fight something that can erase matter from existence? That can rewrite reality itself? We adapt, Ramirez insisted. We overcome. It's what humans do. The lights dimmed again, but this time the Guardian's message was brief. Pride precedes extinction. Olivia faced Ramirez, her voice firm. The choice isn't between submission and resistance, Admiral. It's between evolution and extinction. The Guardians aren't forcing us to change, they're showing us why we must. Later that night, in a secure conference room deep beneath New Geneva, Olivia and Zara sat with representatives from both Earth and the colonies. The mood was tense but hopeful. We're proposing a complete restructuring, Zara explained, highlighting points on a holographic display. Not unification, we're not ready for that, but true cooperation. Shared governance, open borders, combined research initiatives. The Guardian ship showed us countless civilizations that destroyed themselves, Olivia added. But it also showed us those that survived, that transcended. They all shared one thing. They learned to see beyond their differences. As if in response to her words, the Guardian ship appeared in orbit above Earth, visible to everyone, a dark shape against the stars. But this time, it didn't bring visions of warning. Instead, it simply watched, waiting to see what they would choose. In the weeks that followed, the solar system held its breath. The Guardian ship remained, silent but present, as humanity wrestled with its moment of choice. Some, like Ramirez, called for resistance. Others demanded immediate surrender to the Guardian's wisdom. But most began to understand. The real choice lay between these extremes. We're not choosing between Earth and the colonies, Zara told a crowd of thousands in Europa's main dome. We're choosing between fear and hope, between the patterns of the past and the possibilities of the future. As she spoke, the Guardian ship pulsed once, briefly, its surface rippling with patterns of light that seemed to echo her words. The message was clear. The time for decision had come. Humanity stood at a crossroads, and the path they chose would determine not just their future, but their very survival. The Guardians had shown them the way, not by force, but by wisdom. Now, they had to decide whether to take the first step. General Viktor Petrov stood in the command center of Phobos Station, watching tactical displays track movements across the solar system. Ships were moving. Earth Alliance vessels heading to colonial ports, colonial freighters docking at Earth stations. The new cooperation protocols were being implemented with surprising speed. He hated every second of it. Status report, he barked, turning to his intelligence officer, Major Dante Rivera. Sir, the Guardian ship has been stationary above Europa for the past 72 hours, Dante reported. Meanwhile, 17 more Earth Alliance commanders have pledged support for the Unity Accords. Victor's fist clenched. Cowards. They're surrendering everything we've built because some alien ghost showed them pretty pictures. The door slid open, and Dr. Kira Volkov entered, her research team trailing behind her. As the head of advanced weapons research, she had been studying the Guardian ship's energy signatures for weeks. Not pictures, General, she corrected, bringing up new data on the main screen. Reality manipulation on a quantum scale. What we're seeing is beyond our current understanding of physics. I don't need to understand it to know it's a threat, Victor growled. While everyone's distracted by dreams of unity, we're losing our tactical advantage. The colonies were nearly ready to submit to Earth's authority. Now they're being treated as equals. Kira's eyes narrowed. Perhaps that's exactly what the Guardians want to prevent, the kind of thinking that leads to subjugation and war. Before Victor could respond, alarms blared across the station. On the main screen, a familiar darkness appeared, the Guardian ship, materializing directly above Phobos. This time, the vision it brought was personal. Victor saw himself as a child in the ruins of old Moscow, watching Earth. Alliance ships drive back the separatist forces that had killed his family. He saw himself rising through the ranks, driven by a promise to never let Earth be threatened again. But then the vision shifted, showing how his fear of vulnerability had become a desire for dominance, how his pursuit of security had become an excuse for oppression. The cycle repeats, the Guardian's voice echoed. Unless you choose to break it. When the vision faded, Victor found himself on his knees. Around him, the command staff stood frozen, having shared the experience. But while others looked shaken, enlightened, or moved, Victor's face hardened with resolve. Begin Operation Shadowfall, he commanded. Major Rivera stepped forward. Sir, that would be a direct violation of the Unity Accords. The Accords are a mistake, Victor cut him off. Humanity needs strength, not cooperation. If these Guardians want to show us visions, let's show them one of our own. Hours later, in a secure bunker beneath Phobos, Victor met with the captains of 7 Earth Alliance destroyers who shared his views. The plan was simple, a coordinated strike not against the Guardian ship. They knew that would be futile, but against key colonial infrastructure. Create chaos, force a response, prove that peace was impossible. The moment we act, the Guardian will intervene, Captain Helena Wu pointed out. Let it, Victor replied. We'll show humanity that these beings care more about controlling us than helping us. Sometimes you have to force people to see the truth. But Dr. Volkov had been busy too. Her research had revealed something crucial about the Guardian ship's nature, and she wasn't about to let humanity's best chance at advancement be destroyed by fear. As Victor's fleet prepared to launch, Kira transmitted her findings to both Earth Alliance Command and colonial authorities. The Guardians weren't just watching humanity's choices, they were being shaped by them. Each intervention, each demonstration of power, was a response to human thought and action. They were a mirror, reflecting not just what humanity was, but what it believed it could be. The revelation spread quickly. Public broadcasts across Earth and the colonies began showing real-time data. Every act of cooperation strengthened the Guardian's presence, while every act of aggression caused it to fade slightly. As if humanity's choices were directly affecting its ability to help them. Victor's planned strike never launched. His own crews, seeing the evidence of humanity's direct impact on their cosmic witnesses, refused to fire. One by one, the destroyer captains stood down. In the end, it was Major Rivera who placed Victor under arrest. We're not surrendering to alien control, he told his former commander. We're choosing to be better than our fears. The Guardian ship pulsed with unprecedented brightness at that moment, its surface rippling with patterns that seemed almost approving. As Victor was led away, Dr. Volkov addressed the assembled crews. The Guardians aren't here to rule us or judge us. They're here to show us what we can become, but only if we choose it ourselves. Every step toward unity strengthens their ability to guide us. Every step toward conflict weakens it. We are, quite literally, choosing our own level of enlightenment. Across the solar system, humanity watched as the Guardian ship's presence grew stronger, its form becoming clearer, more substantial. What had once seemed like a shadow was beginning to shine. The message was clear. Humanity's choices weren't just determining their future, they were actively shaping the very nature of their cosmic mentors. The Guardians were becoming what humanity believed they could be, just as humanity was becoming what the Guardians knew they could be. It was a transformation that would reshape not just human society, but the very understanding of what was possible when fear gave way to hope. Ambassador Kinzo Tanaka stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, watching the impossible unfold. After 6 months of gradual transformation, the Guardian ship was completing its metamorphosis. What had once been a dark, shadowy form was now a crystalline structure of light and possibility, its surface flowing with patterns that seemed to sing to the cosmos. Beautiful, isn't it? Asked Director Amara Okafor, joining him at the viewport. As head of the newly formed Human-Guardian Relations Division, she had witnessed every stage of the change. More than beautiful, Kinzo replied. It's proof of what we can achieve when we choose to evolve. Below them, Earth gleamed like a jewel, its orbital lanes busy with traffic from both Alliance and colonial vessels. The old boundaries were fading, not through force or treaty, but through the simple recognition that they had been artificial all along. Ambassador, his AI assistant chimed, the delegates are ready. Kinzo nodded to Amara. Shall we make history? The conference chamber was packed with representatives from every human settlement in the solar system. Some attended in person, others via hologram, but all were united in purpose. On the main screen, a live feed showed the Guardian ship, now increasingly known as the Luminous One, positioned perfectly between Earth and Mars. 3 months ago, Kinzo began. Addressing the assembly, we discovered that our choices were directly affecting the Guardian's physical form. Today, we understand why. They weren't just teaching us, we were teaching them. Every step we took toward unity, toward understanding, toward peace, helped them remember their own journey. We weren't just their students, we were their mirrors. As if in response to his words, the Luminous One pulsed, sending waves of light cascading through space. But this time, no visions came. They weren't needed anymore. Dr. Harmony Singh, the quantum physicist who had finally decoded the Guardian's energy patterns, took the floor. What we're witnessing is a symbiotic evolution, she explained. The Guardians showed us what we could become, but our willingness to change, to grow, to choose a better path, it reminded them of their own humanity, so to speak. They're not just transforming us, we're transforming them. The chamber erupted in discussion, but fell silent as a new presence made itself known. The Luminous One's consciousness touched their minds, not with visions this time, but with words. You understand now. Choice shapes reality. Reality shapes choice. The cycle continues, but differently. Better. Aisha Patel, granddaughter of Captain Nadia Patel, who had first encountered the Guardian ship, stood up. As the youngest member of the Unity Council, she represented humanity's future. But why us? She asked. Why did you choose Earth to guide? The answer came not in words, but in understanding. Humanity's capacity for both destruction and creation, for hatred and love, for fear and hope, made them perfect candidates for transformation. They were at the crucial point, the moment of choice that would determine whether they would transcend their limitations or be destroyed by them. And now, Kinzo asked aloud, what happens next? The Luminous One's response filled their minds with possibilities. Images of human ships venturing beyond the solar system, of new guardians being born from other civilizations' choices, of a galaxy slowly awakening to its own potential. The cycle expands, the Guardian communicated. You become teachers. We become students. All evolve. Later that evening, as celebrations erupted across Earth and the colonies, Kinzo stood with Amara in Unity Station's garden dome. Above them, through the transparent ceiling, the Luminous One shone like a second sun. It's not just about peace between Earth and the colonies anymore, is it? Amara mused. It's about something much bigger. Kinzo nodded. We're part of something ancient and new at the same time. A cycle of growth, of teaching and learning that spans galaxies. The Guardians showed us what we could be, and in choosing to become that, we showed them what they could remember about themselves. And now we'll do the same for others, Amara added. As if confirming her words, the Luminous One pulsed one final time. Across the solar system, every human felt its message. The choice was always yours. The future is always yours. We showed you the way. Now you will show others. In the decades that followed, humanity would indeed venture out among the stars, not as conquerors or survivors, but as guides. They carried with them the lesson of the Guardians, that the greatest power lies not in the ability to destroy or control, but in the choice to grow, to learn, and to help others make their own choices. The dark ship that had once inspired fear had become a beacon of light, transformed by the very species it had come to teach. And in that transformation lay the truth that would reshape the galaxy. Evolution was not a solitary journey, but a dance of mutual growth, each step forward illuminating the path for others to follow.